You're no longer needed.
Outstanding work, Priestess. Thanks to you, the palace has reached the exact coordinates.
What makes this spot special?
If you're trying to collect intelligence, you should really try being more discreet about it, you know.
Indeed. But we've nothing to hide from him. This is where I will create a gate to the abyss.
Futile. Your spirit may have found refuge, but your body is lost for eternity. Accept it. No one is capable of escaping banishment to the abyss. Not even you, God of creation.
So naive.
You should not take me lightly, nor the resolve of those who follow me. My loyal servants and I have gathered here in the hopes of reshaping this world for the better. To do so, we will enact a plan set in motion millennia ago. As I was swallowed by the abyss, the strategist sent me the insignia, a piece of her existence that would be my salvation.
Well, if I'm not needed, then just let me go! Sidene finds your presence to be amusing, but nonetheless essential to Bal Mosque's overall objective. For now, Belle Peol appears to be of the same school of thought, and even though she is aware of our master's fascination with you, she is bound and determined to keep it from affecting our operation.
She's attacking without casting a seal.
My opinion, however, is that you are wholly unnecessary. Especially in regard to the Master's Grand Order. In fact, I feel you are a threat to its very existence.
No way. She's here of her own accord?
Now, be gone!
I communicated with the priestess through the insignia. After years of meticulous work, she ultimately succeeded in creating an unrestricted spell that would be capable of enforcing my will.
Yes, it's the spell you know as the Time-Mate Shihen.
The Psalm of the Grand Order.
My servants set upon the task of creating a vessel, while I forged a path through the abyss. Eventually, the vessel would wield my power in this world, and create a gateway leading back to that path.
Despite thousands of years and countless setbacks, the snake remained patient in his prison, until a suitable vessel was finally found.
So once you form this gate, you intend to travel the path and reclaim your original body?
Precisely so. Divine Gate, I command you to open! We've come here because these coordinates are the closest to my body's resting place. Once the gate is materialized, I will finally be able to reclaim what is mine. It is done. Now that the gate has been opened, the Grand Order will soon come to fruition.
Your flame shall extinguish. By my hand.
You've surprised me.
Sorry, Master. But I did so for you! Her mere presence is toxic and is a threat to the Grand Order. This girl is the avatar of the God Slayer, the Dark God of Atonement. For your sake, for the Order's sake, I implore you, Master, destroy this flame haze!
Her disdain for you is nearly palpable, isn't it, Flame of Heaven? My loyal priestess, I applaud you for your forward thinking. However, you've clearly underestimated the worth of this flame haze. Did you ever stop to consider my motives for capturing the flame-haired, blazing-eyed hunter? While the feelings of Yuji Sakai may well have played a trivial role, they alone did not sway me.
Let's say I was to do as you suggest and kill her right here. What would happen? It's possible that, in a fit of rage, the Flame of Heaven would launch a last-ditch attack and attempt to reduce me to smoldering ash in the few seconds available to him. But he won't. Such an act is far too brash for a lord of his standards. All of that power, yet he remains willingly bound to his rules and principles, regardless of the cost. If Shana's life were to end, he would return to the Crimson World to forge another contract. Then at the worst possible moment, he would appear with his new flame haze and perform the Tempa Josai. Can you see now why the presence of this contractor is such a blessing, Priestess? It would be an utter waste of good fortune to kill her. As long as we continue to have her restricted, we've effectively put a leash on the God of Atonement as well.
Oh my. It appears that you've made quite a mess of things, Hecate.
So this is how it feels to realize one's destiny. All I had to do was ask, and then the work was done for me. How exhilarating. A little more time, and my wish will no longer be out of arm's reach.
I can't believe Marjorie had to go overseas on business. That's a bummer. I was hoping we could have another study fest, but I guess that's totally shot. Have any idea where Tanaka and Sato have been hiding lately? You'd think they'd at least call me. Well, it's all good. It'll be a non-stop party when the gang gets back together.
I sure hope so. Will the gang hang out again? I appreciate all that Shana has done to protect this place. And I know that somewhere, Sakai is trying to do the same. But why have I been left behind? There must be something I can do.
Fascinating. The base concept is really quite simple. Dentalia, if it's not too imposing, I'd like to tamper with the material here.
No, tamper away! I have a backup in the colloquium. So far as I'm concerned, you can fiddle with it to your heart's content. Go ahead, buddy!
Thank you for your enthusiastic generosity.
This is a first. You seem thoroughly unsettled.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it seems there's discord among the collective magics. If what I'm sensing is correct, the absorption spell has been active for quite some time, even before unification.
What?
The only being who would have required such an unrestricted spell was the second tyrant, to gather emotional fragments to form its personality. Unless you can think of another.
Brilliant deduction! However, you mustn't forget that two tyrants function as a single unit. For
Yuji's sake, the same spells that gave life to the second are embedded in the first, which Samurai put inside the Midnight Lost Child.
Well, that's funny. I made sure to deactivate the absorption function, and yet it impatiently decided to power up all by itself.
I don't suppose you have any theories on what may have caused this grievous error.
I'm not certain, but I would speculate this distortion was caused by exposure to the Keeper that was placed on the Midnight Lost Child. I'll take the time to look into this while I'm investigating your other concerns regarding the instability of the treasure tool.
I can't remember the last time you went drinking with us. How long has it been?
Couldn't tell you. Been a hell of a long time, that's for sure. Long enough to forget how bad the drinks are. Their excitement's infectious. And so is their anxiety. Suppose it's to be expected before going to war. Can't blame them. Sorry, fellas. When you go into battle, I won't be there to fight alongside you.
Forgiveness isn't needed. If the general is absent, the battlefield shall shake in his honor. As you journey to that forsaken place, rest assured your men will fight to the bitter end.
We commend your bravery for accompanying the Master into the Abyss. If only you could bring along your army, we would gladly follow you.
The sword should not be concerned with the shield, for they have both been forged by fate and are guided with resolution towards their common goal. Should the shield fall...
It will fall with honor and drag the enemy screaming down with it.
Yes, General Shirane.
No one can predict what might happen in times of war. The tides can change at any moment, so stay vigilant.
You've not told me anything I don't already know. As long as I'm in command, I foresee no problems.
Take care of my men and there won't be.
The strategy is simple. Offensive on the front and defensive in reserve. Both your soldiers and the palace shall be well protected.
I'll hold you to that. You'd better not let me down. Dekarabia.
I've been informed of what happened after we last saw each other. You have my condolences.
If it would comfort you, we could deliver a message to the specialist of everything when we rendezvous with her.
No, that's okay. Thank you, though.
Well, if you're sure about it.
Perhaps it was rude of me to ask.
You realize that in order to defeat their leader, Yuji Sakai has to fall as well. Doesn't that bother you?
I must admit, I expected you would implore us to save the Mistis.
I don't have any right to request that. So many Flame Haze are about to risk their lives to protect this world. And defeating Sakai is the quickest way to do that. So, it would be selfish to put my feelings before that. Also, back at the Crystal Altar, when he said goodbye to me, I think it was him. No, I'm sure of it. It was Sakai, not Snake, talking to me. I know he's still in there somewhere. He may even be there willingly, and if that happens to be the case, he doesn't need me. And the most arrogant thing I could do would be to interfere.
Very well said.
Forgive us. We did not mean to pry.
I can't help feeling we underestimated her.
It would seem so. Humans are certainly full of surprises, aren't they?
Kamsen? Behemoth? I could really use your help if you have a moment to spare.
How can we help you?
I have a question about this treasure tool.
May I come in, Shauna?
Have you recovered from earlier?
Yes, I'm fine.
Beautiful. Shauna, come with me, please.
Where are we going?
Up the stairs, for starters. I want you by my side to witness the start of this great journey.
Journey to where?
Towards destiny. The time has come to retrieve the god of creation's body from the abyss.
What's going to happen once he's accomplished that goal, and he has no use for you?
Don't worry.
It's true Yuji Sakai is the bearer of the Midnight Lost Child. But understand, if his worth ended there, I would not have chosen him to be the vessel of my true will. I've no intention of discarding him. You needn't be concerned for his well-being.
Oh, and Shauna, I have no intention of sacrificing myself for the world. So don't worry. I'm following this path so I can protect everyone, and so that we can be together. Those are my heart's desires.
I don't understand why Felis gave this to me. It seems so selfish of a flame haze to ask a human to bear this burden. Shauna did everything she could to help Felis rescue Johann from the Midnight Lost Child. And I was supposed to use this if it ever came into jeopardy. However, if I did use it, it'd deplete my power of existence and I'd lose all hope of being with Sakai. On the other hand, if it turned out that Sakai was in love with someone else, the sorrow would wash away the feelings I'd need to even utilize it. Felis knew this, and yet she gave it to me anyway.
Ah, I understand.
You wish to know why the Caprice of Beauty entrusted you with an item meant to safeguard the Eternal Lover, especially if the risk of you being unable to use it was so high.
Yes, I'm so confused. I don't know what was behind her reasoning. With the way things are right now, I doubt I'll ever be able to make this work. And it's not because I'm afraid of disappearing or anything, though the thought isn't really a pleasant one. It's because I know that Sakai's path to happiness has turned so far away from mine, they will never come together again. All I wanted was to share joy with him. And even though I know that can't happen,
I suggest you go home, Yoshida.
there's no way I can turn back now. Whether I like it or not, the reason that I am here is because of the choices that I've made, and no one else can take responsibility for them. Especially not Sakai. I want to help, but to do that, I need you to help me understand why Felis gave this treasure tool to me.
Human beings truly are beautiful and mysterious creatures, aren't they, Behemoth?
Indeed, Kamsa Nibha. And that is just one reason our constant struggle has so much meaning.
All right, I'll do what I can to help you. But I'll warn you, this story won't be easy to hear. A long time ago, in a kingdom of burning sands, there was a prince who possessed unnatural talent. One day, a monster who fed on power of existence came to his country. In order to defend his beloved king, the prince challenged the beast. He used every ounce of skill and power he had in the fight, though he knew full well the king he fought for despised him. Unfortunately, the prince lost, and as he lay there about to be consumed by the monster, a strange voice called out from the heavens. "If you will abandon your human existence and become my vessel," it said, "I will grant you unimaginable power." The prince accepted the offer and drove the monster away. But the power he had received came at a cost. After risking his life for the king and the people of his country, not one of them could even remember him. That was what it meant to abandon one's existence. Everything he'd ever loved was lost. With nothing left to call his own, the prince set out in search of the monster. Hundreds of years passed until the prince finally tracked down the beast. It was such a cruel irony that he hunted the only being who remembered who he was. The prince hated the monster. He blamed it for everything he'd lost. But after chasing it for so long, he'd come to love the beast for giving him a purpose, and the creature loved him in return for granting it the same.
I don't understand.
The prince slew the beast as it lay in his arms. It, in turn, inflicted a deep but not quite fatal wound on him. Both regretted their actions, but knew it was their destiny. In the end, the pair was heartbroken. The same fate that had once guided the hunter to his prey now forced them to be torn away from one another. So, in defiance of that fate, they united in death. Though tragic, that was love. And while lovers may come to curse, hate, or even kill each other, their bond is eternal and never fades away. An affection that grows too strong may make those outcomes inevitable. Love is never as simple as sharing the same path.
Good evening, Master. Your faithful subjects await your word.
Very well.
So many denizens.
Are your hearts ablaze with pride? Are your bodies trembling with glory? Then you are destined to walk this path with me. Due to your diligence and courage, I have returned to fulfill the Grand Order. Through this divine gate, my body is bound in chaos. I plan to shatter its chains and finally reclaim what rightfully belongs to me, the god of creation, the snake of the festival! While you remain here, I task you. Guard the Palace of the Stars until I can return here with the Trinity! Let your gleaming blades and claws be as sharp as your wits! Let that burning pride scorch your foes, and may the bellowing howls be heralds of your wrath as you call to them! No more! Give no quarter, for you will be shown no mercy! Prove to the enemy that you exist! Remember, you fight for the future! From your courage, I will be able to reach the final stage of our glorious Grand Order, and then I will change the world. I swear it!
Don't worry, I'll return. And when I do, I'll show you, as well as the entire world,
my desire for change.
In an attempt to rescue Shana, Wilhelmina raises Heaven's Road Palace from its watery grave. Meanwhile, Supreme Commander Sophie Savalas sets her own plan into motion. Next time on Shakugan no Shana Final, the war begins.